will have revenge. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Welcome, followers of the Dark Side of Life. I'm your host, John, the real JP3, and I'm joined as always by my good friend and fellow co-host, who is the master of the dark side, expert on the occult, and obtainer of rare antiquities and holocausts. Please welcome Dark Lord of the Hair, David.
Well, what do we have here, Johnny?
I'm gonna go Lando.
I love me some Lando. Anybody that knows me loves I love Lando for episode 123, kicking it off. This episode will air the day that episode 9, the conclusion of the Skywalker frickin' trilogy, comes out. It's around the corner. This episode we are currently shooting right now on Monday. And yeah, Rise of Skywalker's so close. I can taste it. I can feel the water, the mist from the Kylo Ren Rey lightsaber battle on that freaking platform.
They should be, if I my calculate, they're probably like either halfway or a little over halfway through the premiere right now.
Correct. They are doing the live premiere of Rise of Skywalker in Los Angeles right now. I am super jelly of all those that are going. One thing that I want to say right now, we need to go on a media blackout. As of today, Monday, and for all you guys that have not been already trying to do this, get away from spoilers, do the best you can, or hopefully you've gotten to this point Thursday and not been spoiled. John, please do public service announcements all over our Facebook and social media accounts to not let the rabbit out of the hat just yet. We got to keep this mucho hush-hush and just write it out until we see it.
So you can go on a social media blackout, but I still have to do stuff.
John, you can go in there and set your fancy timers and use your master's degree to have these things auto-post without you having to be on there.
No, I don't like those.
Yeah,
But anyway.
Exactly. Either way, I got you.
Mark Hamill has come out and said, guys, people are going to see this at different times. People may not even see it till next week. Understand that, like, be mindful of everything that you post moving forward, like as a request. People may not see it for a couple of weeks. Like, yes, granted, that's their decision, but ultimately we need to be the fans that true Star Wars fans, where we wouldn't want somebody to do it to us, so don't do it to them. Like, if we talk about anything on our show, there will be a huge, like, potential spoilers. Don't listen if you haven't seen it type of thing, just because we want to make sure that nobody gets spoiled until they see the movie. Another thing that Dave experienced this at one time, I briefly experienced it, but remember this as well. You're walking out of the theater, you just saw the movie, talking about it with your friends as you walk out is wrong. I know you're excited, I know you're jazzed. Wait till you get in the car. And then even if you get in the car, you go ahead to have some adult beverages. Be mindful of the people around you. Like, it's loud. It's just better to go sit by the campfire, have a few adult beverages with your buddies, and talk about it. Be very mindful of anything that you do and where you talk about it. And it's hard because people know Dave and I are going to go see it several times. They know we have a podcast. And even when I get asked about my thoughts on it, I'm very, very cautious about what I say if people have not seen the movie. Even if they tell me, no, just tell me. No, you need to experience that. So this is our PSA, our public service announcement. We will continue to post. I posted the one from Jonas, who plays Chewbacca. Mark Hamill has one as well. Guys, just don't spoil it. Like, Lucasfilms, Disney, JJ, the cast has done their best to keep this under wraps for us to see it. Come on, guys. We can, and they've done it for a lot longer than we have. we can keep it under wraps for a little bit longer. Like, just understand. Dave and I usually watch it, go back to the house, and then we talk about it, where nobody else that has not seen it can hear it. And we talk about it, we turn the music on, we discuss it, we divulge it, and then usually we talk about it for like 30 minutes and then we're done. And then we wake up the next morning and we're like, okay, let's talk about it again just to make sure.
After marinated, after we got more thoughts, and this movie is going to require multiple viewings. Not because it looks awesome from what we've seen thus far. And all you guys that are out there hating on it, talking crap because, oh, JJ's doing it again, or, oh, The Last Jedi ruined my childhood, all that other nonsense. Get over it, guys. Get over it, gals. Get over it, Rodians, Grist, Chiss. This is something we love. It might not be done in the exact way that we want it, but we still have to experience it for ourselves and don't try not to crap on it. Like that's the worst thing possible. You know what I mean? These are memories being made. This is concluding George's work. Even if he wasn't in the trenches for the sequel trilogy, this is concluding his work. This is something that he brought to us, and Disney's running with it. And, we're lucky and fortunate enough to be able to experience this within our lifetime. Those of you that have been lifelong fans, those of you that are just jumping on board from the prequels because you saw Clone Wars, whatever. This is a monumental moment that we're about to have. Cherish it, watch it with friends, family, watch it a few times. Just have a good time and try not to ruin and rain on someone else's parade because you didn't like it. I guarantee there's going to be things I don't like about this upcoming film, but I still got to respect it, despite the fact that I don't like this or that.
Yeah, and if you haven't, just to deviate a little bit, it's not really a deviation, but Kathleen Kennedy sat down with the LA Times, I think it published on Sunday, and talked through the future of Star Wars. And she talked about the past, present, and future, kind of how she got to where she was. How Lucas made her co-chair of Lucasfilms, and then like a couple months later was like, hey, I sold it to Disney, you're now the CEO. Like, setting all that up. But she also talks about the fact that she says she went to Bob Iger and said, hey, dude, you got to give us a break. We're going to do these 3 movies, and we've been hot and heavy since 2015. Am I correct?
That's when the first one came out, yes, sir.
Yeah, and so even then, you're going to think it's before then. Like, they started on the planning stages before then, obviously. She's like, dude, you got to give us a break. Like, we got to take a break. And he said, all right. And that's when we got the announcement that he said, hey, we're going to take kind of a hiatus from the movies for right now, because we want to make sure that we're giving them the time they need to develop great stories. And I thought that was kind of cool that, like, the leader of Lucasfilms was like, the people who create, who give us the storyline, who give us what we love so much about Star Wars, and they're just like, hey, we need to stop. Like, we need to take a break. We need to, we'll keep up with The Mandalorian. We'll keep up with Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We'll give you Cassian Andor, Clone Wars save. We'll give you all that stuff. But from the movie perspective, we got to take a break. So she did confirm 2022, we're getting another movie. She also did confirm that Rian Johnson's trilogy is still in the works, and it's going to happen. Kevin Feige has said that he wants to sign on and produce and help produce, but she didn't give a whole lot of more information on that. There's rumors that she's going to make an announcement in January about the next slate of films and what it's going to be. We have to wait and see, but the fact of the matter is this is over 40 years, a 9-film saga telling a story of the Skywalker saga. Like, let that, like, every time I tell people that, I'm like, man, like, just think about that for a minute. We went through the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and now the new trilogy. Like, how many people can say that, we can't say that we were alive during the original trilogy because we weren't. But the prequel and the new trilogy, but think about the people that can say they were alive for all 3 of those entire 40 years. That's huge.
You know what? It is, but even those that are just getting into it now, it's still awesome. You know, they didn't have, and I'm going to break it down in crude layman's terms, but they didn't have to wait. They didn't have to wait for, films and not get any films for a while. And then all of a sudden, yes, we're going to make the prequels. And then, yes, we're going to make the sequels after X amount of time. Those people that are getting into Star Wars right now and binging and soaking up everything, they're like me and sat back and waited for the entirety of the show Breaking Bad to end and then just binge watched it. That's what the new fans get to do. They get to binge watch it and just soak it up and not have to wait 10 years, 15 years for a new film and have that dry spell and just be not lost, but just have that gap where no Star Wars is available in the live action form. So in a way, I'm kind of jelly of these fans that, that are new to Star Wars and just get to dive right in, and they already have this well-built universe for themselves versus, the OGs that, hey, they saw the original 3 in trilogy in theaters and they didn't get anything until 97. From 83 to 97, Jesus. That's a big chunk of time. You have kids, you have a house, you have a family, you retire during that time. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's just fantastic. Star Wars is here. It's going out with a bang. The Skywalker trilogy, or saga, I should say, is going out with a bang. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and you got to think, like, when you brought that up, the first thing I thought of was like Sweet Nelson, who's like just started Stranger Things and is like binge watched almost all 3 seasons already, and he was able to go through and do that. Now, different Stranger Things, the difference with that is that they release every single episode for the new season in one day. And David and I have binge watched together the last 2 seasons, which was pretty epic. Getting season 4, and that's it. But you bring up not just the movies, Dave. I was able to binge watch the Clone Wars. You didn't.
And didn't that feel good for you?
It felt amazing. But then we watched Rebels, and I couldn't binge watch Rebels, and I was pissed because Rebels, in my opinion, was a really good show. The Mandalorian. People who get to binge watch The Mandalorian because they don't have to wait. Like, the UK, yeah, they're complaining about the fact they don't get The Mandalorian or Disney Plus till next year. Guys, you get to binge watch every episode in one day, and we had to wait every week.
But the bad thing is they've already got it spoiled.
And that's what's hard. And you're going to find those things. You brought up a comment when I sent you that snap, and you're like, they get to see the rise of Skywalker before we do.
It's a give and take. It's a tongue in cheek.
Oh, here we go. Dave's famous lines. He could write a book one day, guys. He could write a book.
Oh, it's going to be a bad book.
But it's just, when you bring up things like that, it's very true. And just think about the fact of like, you think even further into the future, our kids, like, they're going to be able to watch the entire Skywalker saga, the Mandalorian, the Clone Wars, the Rebels. Like, they're not going to have to wait for any of that. The only thing they're going to have to wait for is the new content. And
they're not gonna know patience. They're not gonna know the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, like you and I, where you get that nugget and then you're just like holding your breath for I don't know how many years until you actually get something. Which, frankly, we still haven't gotten much out of that line, but it's gonna happen sooner or later. But they will never know the heartbreak of having to wait. And hearing there's no more Star Wars films.
Well, you have to think that
I've lived through that twice, John.
You also have to think that they're not going to also, for you at least, they're not going to have to understand the agony you went through to build the book collection behind you. Like, just to the fact, now Dave's a little particular about his books. So I don't think he's going to let one of his little kids just walk in and be like, I want to read this book one day. Like, he's like, no. You're not going to just take the book off the shelf and read it. You're going to have to check it out. You're going to have to take the book jacket off of it. You're going to have to give it back to me every night. Like, but you got to think about the fact that the stories that they're going to be able to read as quickly, or even you can read it to them, that you're going to be able to provide that to them in a way that you had to build that collection. And I remember when you started building that collection.
So I had a few books before I met you, John, but it was very minuscule. It was like
Oh yeah,
I think it was like a total of like 20 books tops.
it was
One shelf.
nothing.
It was one shelf.
Nothing. Yeah,
I'm not even
we
one
talk
shelf. It was one row. One row.
we talk in terms of shelves and rows on the podcast when it comes to books now.
Oh man, it was ridiculous. And then I was like, John, I found these. I think I'm gonna dig these stories. Get it, Dave. Just do it. And next thing you know, I've got an empire behind me, which I love it. It was a means to an end when there was no more Star Wars out there. You know, these talented writers sat down, wrote great pieces of work, introduced new characters, new ideas, new force powers, new adventures that kept the saga alive in the absence of George Lucas not doing films. So for that, all those writers that are considered, expanded universe legends, I salute you. You kept me in the fandom when there was nothing out there to watch other than the six films over and over again. So for that, I thank you.
Yeah, and Dave has grown to love a lot of different authors, and he's introduced them to me: Timothy Zahn, Drew Karpatian,
James
the guy who wrote.
Luceno, like
Thank you.
it goes on and on.
And
Christy
so
Golden, what's her name?
Delilah S. Dawson.
Delilah Dawson, Kevin Scott, Dooku Jedi Lost, Claudia Gray. Like it's just ridiculous. The list is monumental.
And the great thing about, and I know this isn't the episode about books, but the great thing to think about too is that we've met a lot of those authors. I think actually I have met all of them too, just because I was there with Dave holding books for them to sign. But they're as invested in the fandom and want to know as much as we do, except it's not like they get the Rise of Skywalker script sent to them because they're an author. No, like they get told this is what you're going to work on next, but it doesn't include everything else that's going on. And so I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know. I feel like we took like a long trip down memory lane, but I thought it was kind of cool. And I don't think we even planned to talk about all that stuff.
No, this wasn't even on the radar, but this is book ending a long lasting story, a tale of good and evil, Luke, Anakin, Luke's redemption and resistance to the dark side, Anakin's tragic fall to the dark side. The one thing that I really liked about the prequels is the fact that we got to sympathize and understand why he turned. Yes, there was a bit of jealousy in there, but it was ultimately the love of his life that caused him to go down that road, go down the destructive path and accept not the easy way out, but the temptation of power to save her, even though it was him that damned her. Like it's Shakespearean. It's tragically beautiful, and I think we're gonna get something to that effect with the conclusion of Kylo's story. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't want to have any expectations. A real good friend of mine, he hit me up today and he's like, dude, what are your expectations for episode 9? How do you think it's going to go down? Do you trust in JJ? Do you feel he can end this? Give it justice? And all I could say is I can't think of anybody better. This man grew up eating, soaking up these ideas and the storytelling techniques of George Lucas, Spielberg, countless others. And he's adopted into his own work, and you can see it just by, the visuals, the lighting, the shots, the angles. Super 8 is a love letter to E.T. It's beautiful work, and I have no one better in mind to take over and finish out the story than JJ.
And you kind of think, like, as you were talking about it, I'm like, what is it like to be the person that can say, I concluded this saga? I started the new trilogy, but I also concluded a saga.
It's daunting. It's scary. I'm sure he woke up scared shitless a couple times, sweating, thinking to himself, how many millions of fans love this property? Can I do it justice? Can I do it right? what not only what does he want to see, because he's a fan himself, but what do we deserve visually, climactically, from a storytelling perspective? Like, all of that is on the table, and just from what we've seen in the trailer so far, I think we're gonna get it. I've said it before. I think we're gonna get an ending sequence battle scene bigger than the likes that we've ever seen. I really think they're gonna push the envelope, and we're just gonna be blown away. Everybody was, applauding and raving and ranting about Endgame, and that ending sequence and how epic it was. Just in the trailer, I think this is beating it tenfold. You have a space battle going on. You've got these Orboks on top of Star Destroyers riding, and BB-8 charging into battle. It's going to be intense. It's going to be thick. It's going to be muggy. Like Marty McFly would say, this is going to be heavy. It's going to be some wicked stuff, man. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. I really can't. I'm scared, but I'm excited.
Yeah, and so you bring up all that stuff, and it's something, and I don't remember it, and maybe it's because it's the last film that I'm like really honed in on it, or it's maybe because we post a lot of it, and we don't post everything. We didn't even post all of them. We tried. The amount of TV spots that have been released, the amount of like conversations that have come up about the Rise of Skywalker, the people that are getting behind it. We posted this on our social media about an Amazon exclusive. You go to Amazon.com and you type in hashtag the Rise of Skywalker in the search field. It takes you to a site where you can see like an exclusive clip they gave to Amazon. I think it's now posted out there. But those type of things, that you have companies, major companies, that are getting behind this.
Hell, you have the Coca-Cola Singapore light up bottles.
Yeah.
I want them.
Yeah, they have found that you can create like a light up function in a small, thin sheet of paper. And I'm just thinking, holy crap, technology. And the way that you win them, they made an exclusive amount in this exclusive box, is you get a riddle is dropped like at 5 p.m. every day, and you have to funnel the riddle to get to the box. Like, I read it because when you sent it to me, I was like, this is crazy. Like, you're just going to sell these? Like, Dave's gonna be on eBay all day long. He's gonna pay thousands of dollars for this thing, and then like you can probably still get it for thousands of dollars on eBay. But in order for you to get it, you have to solve riddles. Like, come on! Like, as busy as we are in our lives, and as much as everything that goes on, I could see like I'm gonna go to work, but I'm gonna get up at 5. I'm gonna go do my riddle. I'm gonna get myself, and you would do it every day. Like, you would do it every day to try to get one every single day. Like, grown people, like, understanding that our lives are so busy, but when it comes to something that we truly love like this, it's something that we just say, hey, we're gonna take this back seat and we're gonna get what we want. And it's just huge. Like I said, the amount of information that's coming out about it, all the articles that they're talking about. I think it was Empire Magazine had the Rise of Skywalker week, or the Hollywood Reporter had the Rise of Skywalker week, where they gave an article every week about it. You got people touring, premieres, like Q&A sessions. Anthony Daniels, who has played C-3PO for every movie, he wrote a memoir and like talked about how his effects and everything else on the movie, and kind of talked through the fact of he wanted C-3PO to go out like a badass. Essentially, he wanted him to be there. He wanted there to be more to that character than what it was. Like, those C-3PO, R2-D2, like, come on. Like, I honestly, like, it's kind of sad, and I was thinking about this when you're like, we're gonna do like a last kind of thing, hoorah, before the Rise of Skywalker. Sadly, I feel that C-3PO and R2-D2 we will not see again. Like, I could be wrong, but I feel those two droids, this is it for them. This is Anthony Daniels is hanging up the costume. This is it. R2-D2, Kenny Baker played him in the original trilogy. It's now a robotic droid, but I think this is the end. Like, we're not going to see those two again. I may be wrong, but I personally, that's one of my predictions is I don't think we'll see those two again. I think this is the end of their era. It's done. I've spoken.
You know, I as we started talking, I didn't plan on the conversation going this direction by any means. Um, this episode, it seems like it's just turned into a love letter to Star Wars. And I'm okay with it. Like Star Wars has been an integral part of my life. Um, I constantly quote it. I've quoted it for years. Just in the last couple of years, Star Wars has become cool. It's never really been the cool, the hip, the in thing, but nowadays it's cool to be nerdy. It's cool to have a passion for something outside of the four walls of our reality. And people that are into Star Trek, Doctor Who, all that jazz, it's good, it's great, it's commonplace. It's helping to spread the imagination of new people that are going to be filmmakers one day and all this. Um, it's it's just amazing how far we've come from a technological standpoint from seeing the first films till now. George Lucas pushed the envelope back then. I think JJ's pushing the envelope this time around. He said straight out, there's things that I wouldn't have even dreamt of doing in Force Awakens that we're doing in this one. This movie is going to change the landscape of Star Wars, what the future of Star Wars is. There's going to be a lot of people that love it, a lot of people that hate it, and a lot of those that are just like, okay, what's next? So to segue, and I know we want to talk about one specific TV spot, and we'll get to it. But right now, I'm going to name a character, John, and I want you to write it down. Is this character going to make it? Are they going to live through this final chapter of the Skywalker saga? I know we've talked about it before, but do you think in 10 years' time, we're going to get an episode 10, 11, 12? Yes or no?
No.
You don't think so? You think this is it? For crazy Star Wars fans that have been in the trenches since '83, they've heard it before. We weren't ever going to get any more stories. We got the prequels. Never going to get any more stories after the prequels. We got the sequels. I don't know. I think in a couple years' time, if they come up with an amazing story, we're going to get the saga continued. It's like Garth Brooks. That man says he's never, going to tour anymore. Same thing with George Strait. And then these guys are on the road because they get bored. It might, in my mind, it's going to happen at some point. Hopefully it doesn't take 30 years for them to bring Daisy Ridley back and Adam Driver, whoever's left. But I think at some point we're going to go back to the nostalgia train and revisit these characters. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Kathleen Kennedy did say in the LA Times interview that do not write off the new characters that they created for the new trilogy. You will most likely see them again. In what capacity? She's like, I don't know, but don't write them off. So.
And, they asked John Boyega, I think it was Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac, if they would do Disney Plus. And I think it was Boyega right away said, don't Disney Plus me, bro. No, I'm not going to do Disney Plus. But I think that's also, they've had their head in the Rise of Skywalker, focused on that. I don't think they realize what a beast Disney Plus is. I don't know if they've seen The Mandalorian. I don't know if they've had time. Maybe their songs will change, their tune will change later on down the road, but I think we're going to see more of these sequel trilogy characters at some point down the line. In my mind, there's nothing that says they can't do an episode 10, 11, 12. But I don't know. That's me talking right now in 2019 after being told we weren't getting any more Star Wars. Time and time again. So, you ready for the list? You ready for that conversation? I don't know what that means.
I'm ready to write.
You're ready to write? Okay. I was like, are you Pluma? You ready for Spanish lessons? Okay. C-3PO. Will we see him again? And I'm starting this off just because you were going this route. No? R2-D2.
Hold on. Okay, never mind.
So when you say we're not seeing them again, will this character perish, or will they just fly off into the sunset, if you will? Happy ending. What do you think?
Yeah. So C-3PO, I think, is going to perish. R2-D2, I think, will fly off into the sunset. He'll go to some droid retirement community.
See, I think it was the other way around. I think R2 would bite it, and 3PO trying to avenge him.
And they both die?
No, I think 3PO would make it out of the fray alive, but forever missing his buddy. BB-8, destroyed or sticking around? Or rolling around?
Sticking around.
I agree. Poe Dameron.
Sticking around.
I say perish.
Did you say C-3PO was a perish as well? And are we're not gonna see them again?
If we see them, it would be in the sequel to the sequel trilogy, but I think R2-D2 is going to bite it, as well as Poe Dameron.
Okay.
The mighty Wookiee, Chewbacca. What do you think? Is Chewie making it out of Episode 9, or is he following Han?
You and I have had this conversation, and I didn't agree with you at the time. I think if I remember correctly, I think you said he was going to follow Han. It would just be the right send-off. So I'm going to, if that's not what you said, or you've changed your mind, I'm going to go back and say that he's going to follow Han, and he's going to perish. He's not going to make it out of Episode 9.
I'm going to cry if Chewie dies. I'm going to cry if Chewie dies. I'm throwing that out there right now.
You're going to cry anyway.
It's I don't remember who said it, but it is the perfect representation of a man and his dog, Han Solo and Chewbacca's relationship. Like, when my dog barks or whatever, I talk to my dog. I'm like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. And just like Han and Chewie. It's a relationship that can't be broken kind of thing. So I don't want it, but I think Chewie will bite the dust in Episode 9. I'm going to be bawling like a freaking 5-year-old the entire time, but I think he's not going to make it. The Falcon. What do you think?
I feel the Falcon's one of those legendary things that's going to always be there, no matter what. It's just going to continue to get passed down to passed down to passed down to passed down to passed down.
Okay. So you don't think Chewie's going out in the Falcon?
No.
I think JJ tried to allude to the Falcon not making it because in one of the TV spots he says this might be this last jump. And he's in the Falcon.
Poe, yeah. Well, Poe was in
I'm
it
sorry.
too.
Poe said that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke, but they might be alluding to, hey, the Falcon's running out of juice. She might not be going strong for forever. I don't know if that's smoke and mirrors or that's actually we might lose her. It would be another heartbreaking moment. It really would. And then the only time you get to see the Falcon is in Batuu.
So is that a yes or a no?
The Falcon's gonna stick around. The Falcon's gonna stick around.
You keep giving me all these descriptions that you never answer the question.
I know, because I'm trying to convince myself of one thing or the other. But no, the Falcon's gonna stick around. I think you're right. Lando Calrissian.
No.
He's not sticking around. He's gonna bite the
I
dust.
feel this is his send off. Lando has been in and out. He's has not been in the new trilogy at all. But I feel this is his. They brought him back. His farewell. Like not only Lando's farewell, but Billy D. Williams' farewell in showbiz, because he has stated he's done after this. Like, what kind of send off would you have from Star Wars? Like, come on.
I don't think he's gonna die in this movie. I think he's gonna be one of the survivors. Carrie Fisher, Leia Organa. Are they going to have her character perish on screen, or are they going to have her be one of the ones that survive?
No, I don't think she's going to survive.
I think she's going to. I think she's going to come out the other end of this. We're not going to see her again in future productions, anything like that. Obviously, there's not any more film or recordings that they have that they've disclosed, but I don't think they would. I don't think they would kill her off. They wouldn't show her that disrespect. After everything, I think she's going to be one of the survivors. General Hugs. What do you think? Alive or dead?
I think Huxley's going to stay alive, but he's going to be working in a crow farmery.
I think he's going to perish. I think he's going to perish, and it will probably be by the hand of Kylo.
I could see it.
I think if he's going to die, I think that's the way he's going to. Again, but that's in my mind. It probably won't go down that way, but let's see. FN 2187. Yay or nay?
As much as I think he should, I'm going to say no. I think he's going to continue.
Okay, I agree. Rose Tico.
Again, as much as I think she should, her and Finn should go out together, I think she's going to stick around.
I think you're right. I think she'll stick around. Zori Bliss. Brand new character. Haven't seen her yet in any of the previous films. What do you think?
I don't think she's going to perish, but I think she's going to exit stage left and we're not going to see her again.
I think she's going to perish. I don't think she's going to make it. Let's say. Emperor Palpatine? We don't even know what way he's there. He's alive or he's not. Do you think this is the end? Or does he rule the day and then the galaxy gets plunged into an everlasting darkness?
I think this is the end.
You think this is the end?
This is the end.
Okay. He's probably going to go out. Trying to think of all the other subsequent characters before I get to the final two. Have I missed anybody? Other than the final two, the big two, which is Rey and Kylo. Everybody else we kind of mentioned. Oh, Maz Kanata.
I think Maz is sticking around.
I think she'd sacrifice herself. She'd say something to the extent of, I've been around for I don't know how many generations. I've seen my fair share. It's my turn to contribute to the freaking cause or the galaxy or some nonsense. Rey, Kylo, what do you think?
I think both are sticking around.
Both are sticking around, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Because the balance, the light and the dark. I could see it. Will they go into hiding or will they stay in the forefront of everything?
I think it's kind of going to be a hiding situation. I don't know. I honestly don't think Kylo's going to convert. It sounds so horrible. He's going to convert from Christianity. I don't think Kylo's going to go to the light side, and I don't think Rey's going to go to the dark side. I truly think it's what you said. Is they're going to be the balance in the Force. But I also feel they're going to go into hiding, or they're going to go off the map like Luke did in Episode 7.
Okay. Any other characters that I missed, John, that you want to add in there?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
I didn't include, General Pride because we don't know enough about him. We don't know enough about Janna. The only reason I included Zori Bliss is because she just looks freaking cool. But you know what? For shits and giggles, what about Janna? She's sticking around or is she biting it?
I think she's sticking around.
Okay, I see that. I see that. General Pride. Or Legion General Pride, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. Ah. Um, Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Billy Lord.
Yep. What do you think?
I think she is.
She is what?
She's sticking around.
Okay. I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild movie. We're gonna do an episode about it the first night we get out. Have some conversations, some thoughts. You right there? Your hair's a little wild. Join the club, buddy. Um, but no, once we post that episode, it's gonna be spoiler rich. It's gonna be our raw thoughts, just spit out there by a fire, open mic, having some good convo, and seeing where the night takes us. We're going to have a special guest, Sweet Nelson, on talking Star Wars. So stay tuned for that. Dropping probably on Friday morning.
Friday afternoon, guys. Dave's got to get up and edit.
We'll figure it out.
And then we're going to go see our second showing on Friday. So.
That's true. Do you think you're going to cry in this movie?
I don't think I'm going to cry. I will probably get misty-eyed. And I feel like my mind will be melted. As
Kevin Smith said.
Yes.
I think I'm going to cry. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I think I'm going to cry.
He's an ugly crier, guys. Ugly. He's an ugly crier, and he doesn't ever cry.
It's gonna be bad. Like I feel there's gonna be a lot of waterworks when I watch that movie. Yeah. So are you ready to do we have anything else before we transition and talk about that TV spot?
No.
Anything? Or you know what? Is the movie gonna end on a happy note or a sad note?
I think it's going to be neutral.
Again, balance.
You got to think about what they keep saying about the fact that this is the end of the Skywalker saga. You have to bring balance to what we have seen over the past 40 plus years. There's people that are going to live and there's people that are going to die, and they have to bring that entire story to a close. And JJ's been saying that for months, and everybody else has too, is he's got to bring it to a close, but he's got to bring it to a close in the right way. And recapping and bringing everything together from those previous 8 movies is a big deal. And so I think that you just I don't feel you're going to jump ahead and it's going to be like 10 years later and Kylo and Rey are going to have a child and it's going to be like white picket fence. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I think it's just going to be the end is here. We're done. That's the end of it.
So are we going to get the Lord of the Rings treatment and the multiple endings, seeing what happens to this character through the flash forwards and things like that? I know you just said you weren't going to see that for Kylo and Rey, but
I don't think so. I just think it's one of those things that people are just going to go off on their own.
So they're going to leave it vague and ambiguous to what happens to the rest of their lives, what happens to the state of the galaxy, so forth?
I think they're going to give you something about the state of the galaxy, but as far as the characters, they're going to say at this point the galaxy it has balance. It's better than what it was. There's no evil. They're not fighting against each other. But as far as in 10 years, Zori Bliss is here. Oh, in 10 years, BB-8's here. No, I don't think they're going to do any of that. They're just going to say
the Yuzong invaded.
Yeah, the galaxy's in a good place.
You didn't even hear
this me. Is what's going on. I could kind of see it like the end of Phantom Menace. Yes, where they have the parade and everything else like that. I could see it something like that. But I don't think it's going to be like that. In 10 years, this is where they will find them. No, I don't think it's going to be anything like that.
Okay, I could see that. Oh man, It's gonna be a wild movie, man. Wild, wild, wild movie. Are you mentally prepared? Have you done anything special? Have you rewatched any of the previous films before you go see this one on Thursday at 6 p.m.?
I took a nap watching The Force Awakens.
Okay.
But that's about it. But I probably won't rewatch anything. I know you said you're gonna try to catch up with Resistance, and we're gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure I see the Mando, but I'm not gonna catch up with Resistance. I'm not gonna. I remember The Last Jedi. I've seen it several times. Again, still not a huge fan of it, but it's one of those things that I'm okay. Like, I'm good. I'm not. I know there's been other podcasts and other people saying today you need to watch this movie as you get closer to it, and I'm not one of those people that needs to do all that. I didn't do it for Avengers. I haven't done it for any other movie that they put out there like that. And so I'm good. I'm not going to prepare anything special for it.
I think tomorrow I will watch Return of the Jedi.
Really? Return?
I think that movie's gonna it's gonna be pivotal. We're going back to the Death Star. We're going back to the throne room. We're getting Papa Palps back. You know, that was the movie he was more prevalent in. From the evil, sinister, I'm already in power kind of thing. In the prequels, we get him rising to power. This, we already have him established. I think JJ is going to pay homage to that, and he's going to try and embody the feel that the Emperor had in Return of the Jedi. So I owe it to myself to watch that, and I'll probably watch The Last Jedi.
Sure.
Those are the two films that I will watch. Getting into the movie, which again, this episode's airing on Thursday, so I would have already have seen these two films by the time we roll into our 6 p.m. showing of The Rise of Skywalker.
All right.
Man, it's all coming to an end, John.
I know.
Gave me misty just thinking about it. All right, the TV spot, the last and final thing on our agenda this evening. You guys have already seen it. You've talked about it. We're just talking about it just now on the air, but we've talked about it on the side. What do you think is going on in this Kylo meets Palpatine trailer TV spot? Is that a Sith homeworld? Is that Palpatine's hidden base? What?
I truly do not know. Like, I'm like, where is he? Because originally, if you like see the silhouette of the like the place where he's going or the ship's going to land, I immediately get like it's a Jawa stronghold. Like, it looks very much like a Jawa stronghold. That's the first thing I thought of, and obviously I know that's not right, but that's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, I can deal with this, but overall, it's like, I don't know where he's at. He doesn't look. He's somewhat, I guess, looks like he's in the water. Like, there's an ocean nearby, or there's a water source nearby. But I just don't know exactly where it's at. And that's the biggest mystery. And I hope they kind of tell us that. But overall, I feel like as Kylo's walking up, and he's walking, and he steps on the stone that then lowers him down, and in the background you see different
some
statues,
yeah.
And it's like, are these like, is this the Sith Lords of the past, or is Plagueis there? Is the other Sith Lords that have gotten the Palps to where he is? It's like, that's what it is. But it almost seems like, I think you mentioned it earlier, is like he's walking in. It's like an ends to a means to an end. Sorry, I did that backwards. A means to an end. Like, he's going there, and it's like, I got to confront the final thing that's standing between me and all the power. And I think he's going to learn, but I also feel that he has his own agenda of potentially like, this is the only thing that stands between me and the power, and me being able to rule what I want. But I think, and that's why I think Kylo understands, because you even hear the voices say, every voice you've ever heard has always been me. Then you hear Snoke, and then you hear Darth Vader. And so it's one of those things that's like, he knows he has to go and talk to him, and he has to build that trust. But at the end of the day, he also knows, and that's why I think it's going to come to the fact where it's going to be a balance in Palp. That's why I think Palp's going to be destroyed. I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. Then you jump to some other scenes that we've already seen before, where the jet troopers fly and all that other stuff. But I think the best part of that trailer is the beginning.
And we've seen that a little bit where the TIE silencer lands. Kylo's walking out on what looks like a snowy, frozen surface, and his saber's lit. How, not afraid, but how ready and on edge is Kylo that he's got to light up his saber as soon as he lands, and he's walking. Like, that tells me there's potential danger everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me this dude's just ready. He's not even gonna have it on his holster, like his hip, and bring it to his hand and light up. No, he's on a mission. Either he's walking in there pissed, wanting to do some damage to Palps, or he's going there because he has to, like you said, and he doesn't know what's in store for him. Plus, how beautiful does it look that he's on that platform lowering down slowly, and you just see his silhouette with the lightsaber already illuminated and on and at the ready. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
I can only imagine and guess what's going on in that area, because we see a bunch of statues and they're huge, they're ginormous. It reminds me of, the old KOTOR games where you get to land on Korriban and you're walking through the ancient valley of the Sith Lords. And there's ancient Sith statues, hundreds of feet tall, just surrounding you, and it echoes the past and what used to be, and what still is in a weird way. So, are we going to get a little bit of lore from that? I shudder to think: is this going to be a Sith world, or is this just some place that used to maybe run rampant with the power of the light side of the Force until the Sith took it over, hurt it, killed the planet, killed the Force there, if you will, wounded it, and turned it dark? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm jazzed. I'm waiting for it. That trailer right there got me jacked up, even more so because you get the Duel of the Fates song with the jet troopers and the little, like, sandmobiles, and then you get the Imperial March remix while Kylo and Rey are fighting. I think it's going to be pivotal. That there's something behind the fact that Kylo's wearing the helmet in some scenes and not in others. That there's going to be something there that explains why he's no longer wearing the helmet and why it's reforged. But how awesome is it that Palpatine's been playing this cat and mouse game with Kylo? What does he have in store? Why did he let Kylo get to this point? Why did he let Rey get to this point? Was he engineering all of this, and he found a way to manipulate the midichlorians, God forbid, and he created Rey and he created Kylo, or are they somehow connected? Are they one? Or is Rey a derivative of himself, but in a light side version? I don't know. There's so many fan theories. There's so many conjecture on what could be going on. I'm trying not to think about it too much and just go in there and let the JJ Star Wars Rise of Skywalker roller coaster take me where it wants to go. What are you thinking? You're just pondering. Did you zone out?
No, perfect. I couldn't said it better myself. And at this point, it's like, it's a great TV spot. There's been so many TV spots. A lot of them have given just maybe a minuscule amount of more information, but other than that, a lot of them have been repeats of things that we've already seen. But this one is by far, I think, one of the best, and I can't wait to see. Now, granted, we say that, but we don't know what we're going to get on Wednesday with The Mandalorian when episode 7 airs. So I can't wait. It's going to be great. I think the first movie is just, you're not going to get it all. We're going to see it on Thursday. We're going to see it twice on Friday. We're going to see it once on Saturday. And it's like, I know that after we get done on Thursday, we would never have saw everything.
No, it requires multiple viewings.
And so we're not gonna. There's things that we're gonna miss that other people caught. There's things that we're gonna catch that other people didn't, and we get that. We understand it, but it's just understanding that that's the part of the process. And so I'm jazzed. I'm excited. Talking about it on this episode has been like, oh my god, I can't wait. But I don't know. I'm just excited, and we're gonna have to see what happens. And JJ, I wouldn't put it past you, but every theory in the world that everybody's ever came up with, I guarantee or feel that you're going to make sure that it remains a theory.
No one's really talking about it because I think everyone's thinking it's just a farce. The Dark Rey, you know what I mean? We saw that clip. It set the internet on fire for a little bit, and then everybody's like, "It's JJ. We're not gonna go to bed with that as our lasting image in our head. You know what I mean? That's not our last thought before we drift off to sleep. I don't know what this guy is capable of. I don't know what he's going to do, how he's going to end it. I don't think it's going to end it any way that anyone thinks it is.
I agree.
I'm hoping he cashes in and just does something off the wall that really makes us stop and think and look at the saga as a whole and appreciate the fact that we didn't see it coming. Those are the best stories, the ones that you don't see coming and just hits you over the head, like the movie Memento. You remember that with Guy Pearce?
Oh my gosh, that movie.
Like that movie hits you over the head. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I'm just rambling on and saying movies that I didn't see the ending coming to, and it was beautiful. That made me a fan of those movies because it wasn't your typical cookie cutter ending. Yes, a little ambiguous at times. Yes, a little out of left field, but it works, it fits, and the man had a monumental task putting these 9 movies together, making them work, interweaving them, on top of what Lucas already did. And I think John Williams doing the score and ending his reign, his musical Star Wars career with this movie, it's all the stars are lining up. All the stars are lining up. That's all I got, man.
Can't wait. Guys, have fun at the movie premiere that you go and watch. We are excited. As Dave mentioned, we will have a spoiler episode after we get done watching it on Thursday. We'll make sure that the caveat is there. It's big and bold that you understand that there may be spoilers in there, so you don't have to listen if you don't want to. Again, don't be the person that spoils it when you do go see it. Don't post things on the internet. Don't share it. I get it. Other people don't have they don't have to read it, but it's just better not to do it. Just be nice, courteous, and let people enjoy it in their way that they want to enjoy it. So this is our prediction, final thoughts as we prepare for The Rise of Skywalker, the 9th film in the Skywalker saga that's going to bring it all together after 40 plus years. Something that George Lucas created and probably had no idea what kind of a franchise he had on his hand. We appreciate you for that, George, and we appreciate the people that continue to bring us these movies. We are the Balance of the Force, the Star Wars podcast, and as always, may the Force be with you.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. And we shall